Hey, it's KJ here, back with another video. In my last video, I said that I had a lot going on last quarter from managing a startup, navigating my first quarter virtually at Stanford, and continuing to post videos on this channel. I'm someone that can handle a ton of stress all at once, but this wasn't always the case. Last year, you may even remember me having to go to MIT Mental Health because I had previously tried handling all this stress alone. And since then, I've learned a ton about my mind and my body, and I wanted to use this video to give you 10 quick tips on how to manage your stress that I personally use myself. Huge shout out to Goodwall for sponsoring this video, and let's get right into it. First of all, connect with people. You aren't alone and you never should feel like it. I was someone who hated adding stress to my loved ones, so I would just bottle things in and not mention anything going on in my life. But just as I would want my loved ones to express their issues and problems to me, there are plenty of people around you right now that would love to help you in dealing with your issues and problems. If anything, there are people out there that will listen to you. This whole pandemic especially is making it very easy to just isolate from the world. But even just a quick FaceTime or Zoom call could change your whole outlook on a certain situation. Your loved ones will keep you grounded on what's actually important, and in general, their unconditional support can help a ton during a time like this. In a time of complete isolation, maintaining these really positive connections in your life can prove to be the difference between a stressful and a non-stressful time. And this gives me a nice segue into the app Goodwall, which has a community of over 1.6 million students and young professionals spanning over 150 countries. It's a mobile-first social networking app that is completely free and available to download on both Android and iPhone. Goodwall hosts challenges and programs for students and professionals to better themselves, better our world, and win prizes. By building your own unique profile on Goodwall, you're able to showcase your skills to universities, employers, and the rest of the world. Here's my profile showing my achievement, skills, and ideas. Then this tab lets you find details on how to participate in the weekly challenges to develop skills and win prizes. In connection with Computer Science Education Week, Goodwall is hosting an exciting #Coding Story challenge until December 13th, supported by IBM Z, where you can win big. This challenge is all about inspiring students to learn CS and advocate for equity in computer science education. So go ahead and download Goodwall and just submit a short selfie video showing the story of how you first became interested in coding and CS. By posting it on Goodwall with the #Coding Story, you will inspire others and even have the chance to win a $1,000 cash prize from IBM Z. I want to reiterate that it's completely free to participate, and I'm looking forward to seeing all of your submissions. Best of luck. My second tip is to put things in perspective. Something I forget to do a lot is just to take a step back and take a broader look at the situation at hand. By taking a look at the bigger picture, you'll get a better idea of why you're feeling the things that you're feeling. Instead of getting into the terrible cycle of getting stressed by your stress, take the moment to realize what's going on. For example, we're in the middle of a global pandemic, which means lockdowns, social distancing, quarantining, and virtual classes. You can acknowledge that these times are nowhere near normal, so why would you expect yourself to feel and have normal productivity in these instances? That just isn't reasonable, and if you took a step back, you'd realize this. And so an easy mental way of reducing stress is to dynamically manage your own expectations of yourself. There are so many stressors in the world that I really focus on not adding any stress myself. An interesting thing that I also do is set my phone up with reminders that notify me 3 times a day and simply remind me to remember how capable and strong I am. I even went ahead and wrote more encouraging words and questions that I can ask myself to just remind me how blessed I am. These just live on my fridge, so I'm always able to look at them. Sometimes it's best to just listen to your own advice and encouragement, and in these ways, I'm able to remind myself at random points throughout the day. And these little pick-me-ups could prove to be the difference between a happy and stressful day. My next tip is to use calendars. I'm a huge calendar guy and I've tried various degrees, from scheduling every minute of my day to only putting critical things on my calendar. For me, a calendar is less of a guideline of what I need to do at any given minute of the day, and more of a reminder that I do have the time in the day to do the things that I need to do. If I hadn't sort of sectioned off everything into my calendar, I may have thought that there was no easy way I would be able to do the tasks I wanted to. Because a lot of the times when you don't feel like you can finish a certain set of tasks, then you put them off because it seems too daunting. And this starts a really bad cycle of just putting things off that seemed overwhelming, which ultimately make you more overwhelmed and stressed in the end. Something that I've done recently that also helped a ton is the use of physical calendars. Now I have this weekly and monthly dry erase calendar on my fridge, so I'm always up to date with my bigger deadlines and also know what I'm going to be doing with any given day in the week. Again, this just puts everything into perspective and makes it easier to get started on certain things when there's only 1 to 3 tasks that I need to do for any specific day. Guided meditations are something that I honestly didn't believe in for the longest time. But recently, my consistency with meditating actually changed my mind on how it affected me. I personally use the Calm app and just do a 10-minute guided meditation every day. And in these 10 minutes, I'm able to not think about anything else. This basically allows myself to reset my mind for the day, minimizing any extra baggage I had been carrying in from the previous day. And honestly, this has helped a lot, so even if you're skeptical about meditating, I recommend just trying it every day for like 2 weeks, and you'll see how that affects you. My bet would be that it would help a decent amount, but I do admit that it's hit or miss, so meditation is definitely something you just have to see for yourself. While meditating is a good way to maintain a healthy mind, working out is a great way to maintain a healthy body. Working out actually chemically removes stress from your body through sweat, so it's actually a surefire way to reduce stress. But even beyond that, having a healthy body can have a positive impact on other aspects of your life. By working out consistently, your body will inevitably begin to transform. Things like walking upstairs will feel easier, you'll begin to feel stronger, and ultimately you'll have more energy and confidence. These physical pick-me-ups could be that little extra push that gets you through a stressful day. And as your body continues to improve, you'll actually be able to see physical progress when you wake up and look in the mirror in the morning. And especially in times like these, any forward progress will help and will allow yourself another avenue of giving yourself some appreciation. My next tip is to set bite-sized goals. When I was talking about calendars, I kind of got into the advantages of having these palatable objectives. And I just wanted to make sure to clarify why this is the case. We all know that procrastinating makes things more stressful in the end, but we all keep doing it. But a good way to curb procrastination is to set these bite-sized goals that you can complete along the way of finishing a broader task. These tasks can't be too easy where you think you can do them anytime, but also can't be too hard where you're intimidated. For example, instead of saying that I'm going to make a video, I tell myself that I'm going to have to outline the video, then write the video, then film it and ultimately edit. So now we can put it into 4 different palatable tasks that used to be one big task that I may have put off for a couple days because it seemed too daunting. And now when you break it up, you can break it up between days and different working sessions. This will allow things to be a lot more reasonable and a lot more actionable. My next 2 tips may be the most important ones in terms of overnight stress reduction. The first one is to take rest days. I know that the way I'm most productive is by taking these larger sprints of productivity. And what I mean by this is by doing work for 12+ hour days, but doing this for just 3, 4, or 5 days a week instead of all 7. But I also know that those really long work days aren't sustainable up to a point. If I don't take at least 1 day out of a week to just unwind, then I won't be able to maintain that same level of productivity for the next week. And through thinking through and talking through these different points, I'm realizing how coupled productivity and stress are. When I don't feel productive, I get more stressed, and vice versa. And I truly believe that taking these days to be unproductive will be productive overall in the long run. You'll give yourself the headspace to deal with the upcoming stressors that will come your way. And speaking of rest, sleep is another surefire way of just reducing your stress. Different people need different amounts of sleep to be functional, but there's numerous studies that prove how detrimental it can be for someone to sleep less than their body needs. You may think that you can salvage an hour or 2 every day by just sleeping that hour or 2 less, but the overall effect on your body and mind will definitely be negative. With less sleep, you'll be in a worse mood, your body won't function at peak levels, and your mind won't be at full capacity either. So making sure that you sleep enough goes hand in hand with making sure you have a healthy mind and body. I recommend having as many days in a week as you can to just let your body sleep until it naturally wakes up, and I think that will have a bigger impact on your overall stress levels than you may have thought previously. My next tip is to talk to people. This is something that sounds so simple, but it's so easy to overlook as you're dealing with the stresses of every day. Something that I had a bad habit of doing was just letting everything bottle up inside my own head. When you let your thoughts run in circles in your own head, you only make your stress worse. Even if the people around you don't have the specific solutions for your problems, just voicing those things to them will help you realize that they aren't as bad as you previously thought. And in general, just talking to people lets you get a better idea of other perspectives on the same situation. For all you know, they may have gone through similar things or share your sentiment on the topic. And these are all just avenues of alleviating your stress. The less you feel alone on the issue, the better you will feel. Lastly, I recommend that you make time for the things that you enjoy. Many people have this false sense of time where they feel as if there's only time for productive things and sleep. However, it could prove to be very productive to do some things that simply give you joy. No matter what people say to me, I know that people have that spare hour or two every day. For me, I enjoy playing video games with my friends. And honestly, I could care less about what game we're playing or what device we're playing it on. It's just having that time to be stress-free and have fun with the people that I care about. And it's during these times when I can make sure to catch up on people's days, and it just makes me feel more connected to them. This last tip encapsulates a lot of other tips, but I thought it was important to just mention. And something that I definitely do also for my own enjoyment is make videos like this one. I enjoy sharing my insight and experiences with the world, and hopefully they have a positive impact on your lives. Let me know in the comment section which tips resonated with you, and if you have your own tips, make sure to comment those down below as well, because I want the comment section to be a place where people feel comfortable sharing their own thoughts as well. Also, make sure to subscribe to this channel, and make sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter to stay up to date with what I'm doing, so hopefully I can help you out during these times. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.